You saw right there French President Emmanuel Macron getting a hero's welcome at Sichuan University in China in his state visit with Xi Jinping. But while that was taking place, France was under attack. This is not getting a lot of attention, but drones were circling over nuclear submarines in France, and the French military engaged with these drones. It is possible these drones are of Russian origin that are continuing to test the limits of the NATO alliance, which the United States is pretty much withdrawing from at this point. Just take a look at what went down. Unidentified drones were spotted over France's top nuclear submarine base yesterday, and the French military engaged and shot at. We're not sure if they shot down those drones. And of course, this follows the assassination attempt on Zelensky when Zelensky arrived to speak at the parliament in Ireland, where he got a standing ovation there. And again, this is not getting attention really anywhere either, but it seems that there was multiple Russian drones directly in the path of where Zelensky's plane was landing at the airport in Ireland. Now, Zelensky's plane arrived early, and if it hadn't arrived early, those drones could have had a direct strike and potentially killed Zelensky. Not a peep from the United States in terms of standing with Ukraine or our European allies while all of this is going on. And frankly, there's barely any media attention with this at all. But what we do see the United States doing, and this is the ultimate betrayal, I think, of Europe. First, the United States is removing sanctions from Russia right now, promoting Russian gas and oil companies like Lukoil. The United States is allowing Lukoil to operate wherever it wants to, basically through 2026. So not only is the United States not imposing secondary sanctions against Russia, the U.S. is removing sanctions against Russia. Also, one of the things that we've learned is that the United States has been lobbying several countries in the European Union and trying to provoke opposition leadership within the European Union to block any plans within the EU to use frozen Russian assets to help Ukraine. The U.S. position now is to bleed Ukraine dry because Donald Trump wants Putin to be able to take over Ukraine and complete the genocide that is currently taking place. I mean, you just look at this graph right here, which tells the whole story. There's been no U.S. support for Ukraine at all this year, none. You could take a look. I mean, at least this quarter, the United States is withdrawing all support and again, trying to bleed Ukraine dry. There's a phone call amongst the top European leaders, which Der Spiegel, a German paper, and I'm a big Der Spiegel fan, you know that, they were able to get their hands on this. It leaked out, this transcript, and you have all these European leaders speaking with Zelensky, basically saying, you can trust the U.S., be very careful. Witkoff and Kushner and that whole crew are basically agents of Putin at this point, and we've got your back, but you got to be very careful. The United States is basically an enemy. I'll go read that for you. I'll read you the Der Spiegel report, but you could be like, well, Ben, you're being hyperbolic, and how do you know you've got the correct translation? And chill out, calm down, whatever you want to say. But why don't we just look at this? This is the United States National Security Strategy Report that was officially published publicly on Friday, although it leaked on Thursday. Take a look. National Security Strategy of the United States of America, November 2025. This is an official document about the U.S. global priorities. And here's what it says its top priority is. I'm going to read word for word. Cultivating resistance to Europe's current trajectory within European nations. In other words, to destroy the European Union. I'm reading from the U.S. National Security Strategy book. This is what they published. This is public, that the U.S. wants to destroy the European Union and views the European Union as an enemy. It also states, this is the official U.S. policy under the Trump regime, that the growing influence of, quote, patriotic European parties gives cause for great optimism. What they're referring to there are parties like Le Pen's party in France, ultra nationalistic, MAGA, Putin supporting, or the Reform Party in the UK, same thing. The German right-wing MAGA party over there that J.D. Vance supports. All of these right-wing extremist, MAGA, Putin bootlicking type of groups that use the xenophobic, anti-immigrant type language. The U.S. says we need to support them right there. And one of the things in this report it also talks about, it says the lack of self-confidence in Europe is most evident in Europe's relationship with Russia. And then it goes on to say, a core interest of the United States is to negotiate an expeditious cessation of hostilities in Ukraine in order to stabilize European economies, prevent unintended escalation or expansion of the war, and reestablish strategic stability with Russia, as well as to enable post-hostility reconstruction of Ukraine to enable its survival as a viable state. Strategic stability with Russia right there. And it talks about over here, it wants to manage European relations with Russia that will require U.S. diplomatic engagement to establish conditions of strategic stability across the Eurasian landmass, it says. So in other words, bring Russia back into the fold.
Okay, I just got a new piece from Article for my entryway, and I'm not kidding, it completely transformed the space. The modern design ties everything together perfectly, and it just feels right when I walk through the door now. The quality is amazing. You could tell the moment it arrives, it feels durable, solid, and high-end. From the smooth edges to the sturdy hardware and the delivery, super easy. The piece came carefully packaged and was basically ready to go right out of the box. I think it took me like 10 minutes to get it all set up. That's what I love about Article. It makes it effortless to create a stylish, long-lasting home at an unbeatable price. Whether your vibe is mid-century modern, coastal, or Scandi-inspired, every piece is curated to mix and match beautifully. There's no filler here, just great design and craftsmanship that actually lasts. Article also offers fast, affordable shipping across the US and Canada, professional assembly if you want it, and a 30-day satisfaction guarantee, so you can shop completely stress-free. Article is offering our listeners $50 off your first purchase of $100 or more. To claim this, visit article.com/Meidas and the discount will be automatically applied at checkout. That's article.com/Meidas, MEIDAS, for $50 off your first purchase of $100 or more. Check it out.
Now, let's take a look at this Der Spiegel report right here. Der Spiegel's latest report points to the ultimate betrayal by the United States, as Roman Schermetta writes. According to leaked notes from a high-level call between President Macron, German Chancellor Merz, Finnish President Alexander Stubb, NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte, and President Zelensky, Europe's leaders privately warn that the United States may be preparing to further pressure Ukraine into territorial concessions without offering security guarantees. Macron reportedly used the word betrayal, warning Zelensky that Washington might intervene on territorial issues while refusing to guarantee Ukraine's safety. Chancellor Merz of Germany cautioned Zelensky to be very careful in the coming days, saying the United States is playing games with you and with us. President Stubb says that Zelensky must not be left alone in any room with Kushner and Witkoff, the unofficial envoys pushing Trump's agenda. NATO's Mark Rutte are agreed, emphasizing that Zelensky himself must be protected. Everyone understands the stakes right here, and everyone recognizes that the United States is now essentially an ally of Russia and no longer an ally of NATO and no longer an ally of Ukraine. It's a sad realization, but that is where we're at right now. I just want to share with you what's going on around the world, because as Donald Trump's there with the head of FIFA, very corrupt head of FIFA, and the head of FIFA is giving Donald Trump these fake peace awards. For some reason, FIFA is now involved in their FIFA 2025 Peace Award, and they've given it to Donald Trump. It's like a very strange thing. By the way, I just view all of that as kind of international mockery at Donald Trump at this point, but Donald Trump couldn't have been happier with that. There are real serious meetings taking place across the world as a new world order is being structured that leaves the United States out and weaker than anybody else. I mean, I showed you at the outset, French President Emmanuel Macron meeting in China with Xi Jinping on a state visit. You saw how popular Emmanuel Macron is in China. Another important worth noting state visit between Prime Minister Modi of India and Vladimir Putin of Russia in India, and a state visit, red carpet treatment for Putin right there. You have, again, as the United States is kind of alienating everybody, and Trump's writing, he's not writing, people are writing for him, these bizarre position papers of the United States attacking Europe. The United States is all alone right now, all alone, while you have all of this happening. I'll mention this as well. You had J.D. Vance and Marco Rubio attacking Europe and the European Commission. Marco Rubio goes, the European Commission's $140 million fine against Elon Musk's X, formerly Twitter. It's an attack on all American tech platforms and the American people by foreign governments. The day of censoring Americans online are over. J.D. Vance goes, rumors swirling that the EU Commission will fine X, Elon's company, hundreds of millions of dollars for not engaging in censorship. The EU should be supporting free speech, not attacking American companies over garbage. You see right there how the position is basically treating Europe as though it was Russia and treating Russia as though it was Europe, because the United States has abandoned all of its traditional allies. Hat tip again to the great work at the writers at Der Spiegel. I truly love everything they do over there. I want to show you what the president of the European Union Commission, Ursula von der Leyen, what she posted. She posted how Friedrich Merz and Belgian Prime Minister Bart de Wever will be exchanging views on the situation in Ukraine and the frozen Russian assets. We agree that time is of the essence, given the current geopolitical situation. We noted that financial support for Ukraine is of central importance for European security. We had a very constructive exchange in this matter. Belgium's particular situation regarding the use of frozen Russian assets is undeniable and must be addressed in such a way that all European states bear the same risk. We agreed to continue our discussions with the aim of reaching consensus at the European Council meeting on December 18th, because again, you have Trump lobbying against this because Trump is trying to help Putin right now. That's the whole goal of Trump's policy: destroy Ukraine and help Putin right here. I want to share this with you as well, just so you know. This is what Zelensky put out. Here's a statement that he put out. He says, today, this was yesterday, today Ukrainian representatives will continue their discussions in the United States with Trump's team. Our task is now to obtain the full information about what was said in Moscow between Putin, Dmitriev, and Yushkov and Trump's envoys, Witkoff and Kushner. What was said in our task is now to obtain the full information about what was said in Moscow and what other pretexts Putin has come up with to drag out the war and pressure Ukraine. Ukraine is prepared for any possible developments, and of course we will work as constructively as possible with all our partners to ensure that peace is achieved and that it is, after all, a dignified peace. Only a dignified peace provides real security, and we fully understand that this requires and will continue to require the support of our partners. So you see, Zelensky's tone in this whole thing is very different now as relates to the Trump regime also. Let me know what you think. But again, you're probably not hearing these reported in lots of other places. So please subscribe if you can. We're on our way to 6 million subscribers, and we really need you to subscribe. Help us continue our growth. You may think you're subscribed, but you're probably not subscribed. So hit subscribe if you can. Thanks for watching.
Love this video? Support independent media and unlock exclusive content, ad-free videos, and custom emojis by becoming a paid member of our YouTube channel today. You can also gift memberships to others. Let's keep growing together.